all for coming and being here. Feel free to take a look around. This was supposed to be up on that wall, but it fell. So and it broke. Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it on the table. But these are 2 sets of photography projects. That is kind of part of a longer arc of photo documenting indigenous and African spiritual traditions across the global south. So the photos that you see with the masquerade type costumes are from Loíza in Puerto Rico, which is about 20 miles away from the main capital city of San Juan. It's an annual festival, happens every year at the end of July, and probably started in 1880, even though the actual documents suggest that it's been around for much longer than that. All of the folks that you see represent a different role. So we have the Diablos, we've got the Caballeros, and each of them is categorized by a specific type of costume. So the Caballeros will have a lot of sequins, ribbons coming from their hats. They have mirrors sometimes, like this one right here. The Diablos are always masked, and the masks are made of coconut still. And that's been around for also a very long time. And yeah, that's partially it. They have a street festival for children, so you'll see children also dressed up in the same costumes. They'll have a festival for women, and then they'll have a festival for men. And each day they end in a bomba, which is basically drums. It's a drum circle, and folks dance something called plena. So it's all together. And then the ones that are green and purple, I took them on Mother's Day this year. This is a second line in the 7th Ward of New Orleans. These are run by social clubs, churches, and other community groups, and they've been around since before emancipation in the country. The first actual documented second line was the week before the Emancipation Declaration was signed by Lincoln, because in Louisiana the government basically said we are done with enslavement, and indigenous folks and formerly enslaved Africans at that point came together to Congo Square to celebrate, and that was the first documented second line celebration where folks took instruments, marched through the streets. These are all from that day. We've got some that are mixed up here between New Orleans and Puerto Rico, and the reason why I put them all together is because oftentimes we don't see carnival and Mardi Gras or second lines is actually part of the same tradition or similar traditions, right? And so this also kind of demonstrates the practice of keeping stories, keeping traditions alive, and kind of weaving them into contemporary festivals and celebrations. So
thank you. Yeah, I'm going to come over here. I don't want to run your filming because I want to see these. And
yes, please do.
Are you from New Orleans?
No, I'm from the Bronx.
What is your connection to the stories that are being told there, or is this just this series where you decided to kind of highlight this part of a culture that you're connected to, and then you just do various series over time?
Yeah, I'm not connected to New Orleans as far as I know. I know that a lot of folks from Quisqueya and Haiti, which is where my folks are from, that's where my lineage is, left the islands to go into the Gulf. So a lot of folks have paperwork that says that they came from Santo Domingo, which is the capital of DR. They came from Port-au-Prince, which is the capital of Haiti. And so I'm like, okay, that's really interesting of a migration story. As someone who is, first generation, because my parents migrated here in the 80s, I want to say, I've been really interested in different types of carnival celebrations. The Dominican Republic has 2 big ones during the year, one in February and one in August. Haiti also has a bunch, one in Jacmel that I've been to when I was really young. which is very, very beautiful. And then my first exposure into documenting this was actually the one on Eastern Parkway. And I was like, wait, this feels like home to me. And so the New Orleans one wasn't planned at all. I just happened to be there for a work trip. And then on Sunday afternoon before my flight, I was like, how much time do I have? Can I try to figure out what the locals are up to? And I took my camera, I grabbed a coworker of mine, and we kind of ran into the second line as it was going. They were all very, very sweet, asked for permission, they were totally down, had a bunch of conversations with a lot of the locals, just kind of how long they've been doing it. Some folks do it every month and have done it since they were children. This is all mostly folks within the 7th Ward who showed up to this one, but folks from across the city also come to the different celebrations. So I feel like my role as a photographer and also someone who's jumping into the like photo documentary pieces is also to help archive some of these stories and connect the visual art to the long arc of history. I don't want to just take photos to take photos because they look beautiful and because people are beautiful, but I also want to be able to help tell their stories in a way that is accessible, where all you need to do is look at it and ask a question, and then you get like a whole journey that you wouldn't otherwise.
Our work is similar in that way.
Yes, yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I do have one. Like, I see like all of them, like, you know, it's our pictures. I want you to tell me or tell us, like, how do you feel like about taking a photo?